Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. You are tuned to Focus on Uganda, a program of Ugandan Federalist Alliance for Democracy and Development in Uganda. Your host, Charlie Lakony, bringing it to you today on our flagship radio station, Voice of Uganda Radio. Welcome, most of you who have been listening to the previous program. Thank you for transitioning to our program. And we know that today is Sunday. Many of you just came back from work. From church. Some of you are getting ready to go to church. Some of you have been to church and are probably getting ready to go again. And some of you are just relaxing prior to starting the weekend. I've been starting the work week. Whatever it is you're doing, thank you very much for doing it with us. It is now 9 o'clock, and we are going to be going until 11 o'clock, all times Pacific Standard. I'd like to also welcome all of you who are calling me specifically from Uganda. We are very sensitive to the plight of those of us who are still living in Uganda, and we want to make sure they understand that we are not just sitting around in the diaspora doing nothing. There's a lot of things going on, and we shall eventually triumph over the despot that is ruling our country right now. But we also want to emphasize that nothing is going to happen without your participation as people on the ground in Uganda. So we are always making sure that you understand where we are, what we are doing, and how, when, and how we are doing it. So we are going to be concentrating on you all the time because you are the ones paying meeting the brunt of Museveni's dictatorship. So we are very glad that some of you, especially you listening now, are able to listen to us and hear what it is we are all about, so that at least you have a better idea of what is happening in the diaspora. I'd also want to give a shout out to everybody around the world who are calling in or are listening in. This is our time, and we need to work together to ensure victory over the dictatorship in Uganda. I want to start off by giving a very brief housekeeping. Um, Many of you are calling just to listen, and you're calling two numbers. The first one is 712-493-6876. Again, 712-493-6876. Some of you are calling the second number, which is 484-718-0232. Again, 484-718-0232. Many of you, however, are not just calling to listen, but you're willing to call and contribute to the discussion, and also make your opinion known, so that you call in and you get on the air. There are 5 different numbers, phone numbers that we have. There are 2 studio numbers and 3 toll-free numbers. And I'm going to go very quickly over all of this. Before you do that, please note that all of these numbers are listed on our website, www.voiceofugandaradio.com. Go there and you click contact, and these numbers are listed there. The 2 previous numbers that I've given, you'll find them on the home page. Let me give you the first 2 studio numbers first. The first one is 610-539-1740. Again, 610-539-1740. The second one is 215-392-2180. Again, 215-392-2180. If you're calling from Sweden, United Kingdom, or Uganda, or anywhere in the world, we have 3 numbers that you could call. If you're calling from Sweden, the toll-free number is 085-197-0858. That is 085-197-0858. The second number is when you're calling from the UK, the United Kingdom. We'll have toll-free number for you, and that number is 020-328-77019. Again, it's 020-328-77019. If you're calling from Uganda or anywhere else in the world, you need a Viber service on your Android phone, and the Viber number to call here is 484-904-7038. Again, 484-904-7038. You can also contact us by cell. You can also contact us by sending us email. Our email address is info@voiceofugandaradio.com. Info@voiceofugandaradio.com. We also invite you to use your Skype. Yes, if you have Skype, our name is Voice Uganda. You can also communicate with us using your Skype, which a lot of people are doing, and it is much cheaper. So if you don't have Skype, please download the Skype software onto your computer or even your cell phone, Android phone, and you can get with us on Skype. We also invite you to visit us on our Facebook. We have a very, very busy Facebook, and people are coming and going, and we are always putting up uh, new articles, new statements, new stories that you need to read and respond to, and a lot of people are doing so. So please visit us on our Facebook. Lastly, please visit our mother organization website, Federalist Alliance for Democracy and Development in Uganda, or FADU, FADDU, and our website is www.faddu.org. www.fadu.org. When you get there, you'll see a lot of tabs that you can click onto on our web page, and you can also register as a member of FADU. The registration is free, and we encourage all of you to please go there and register so that we know where you are and how we can work together to save our country, because it is our motto that everybody needs to get involved. That way you take ownership of your country. The next thing I want to talk about, of course, is programming. There has not been any change in our programming. We still bring you 6 programs on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, one each on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 2 on Friday. Please go ahead and go on our website and click programs, and you'll see the slate of programming out there. You'll see the time they're coming in both United States time and Uganda time, and you'll also see the program name as listed and the host or hosts of each of the programs put listed in there. The last thing I want to talk about is our Uganda Liberation Fund. That Liberation Fund is swelling, but rather slowly. We would very much like you, ladies and gentlemen, to make the effort necessary to help out, so that we can at least be having something in our coffer as we move forward. It is important that we put together the seed money necessary to start things going. Then the people who are able to help us, or institutions that are able to help us, they will be in a position to just come and give us the hand they have to give, instead of actually starting these things for us. So we are very, very humbled by the generosity and the donations of those who have already done so. We don't take this lightly, and we thank you all very much. Those of you are already donating. We encourage those who are not yet making donations to FADU or Voice of Uganda Radio to do so. Making a donation to us is very, very easy. If you contact donate, if you click the donate contact on our phone or on our website, you will go to a very secure website, and you will be able to donate using PayPal. PayPal is very, very secure, and it has been shown to be very, very secure. However, if you are not interested in getting your name known, you just want to be an anonymous donor, then you can simply write a check and just send it to us, snail mail. You can send your check to us, or your money order to us, snail mail at PO Box 362, Eaglesville, Pennsylvania 19409. If you press contact, you will see our contact by mail right there. PO Box 362, Eaglesville, Eagleville, .PA 19408. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, that we start putting our hands together and also putting our resources together so we can get the work done. The people at home are ready for a change, so are you, and we all need to get it done now. This is the best time we possibly can have to get this thing going, because unless we start it going, we are not going to get the support that we are asking for. Because first of all, the people that we are asking for donation, they cannot even say what we are going to do with whatever it is they're going to donate to us. We need to be very clear and very specific about what it is we are doing, and make sure that our donors understand, so that there is no confusion as to what the money or the resources that they are providing for us is going. And we will therefore be very clear and understanding who is on our side and who is on the side of Museveni, and who is really not involved at all. So we are very appreciative if you could go and contact into the donate tab on our website, and you can donate $5. You can donate $10, 20, 50, 100, or any amount that you have. What we are hoping is that you do make a donation every month. If you want to give us $100 or £100 a year, we suggest that you break that down and maybe give us $10 a month instead. Make it a monthly donation. That way we can at least do a budget for the year, because uh, one-time donations here and there, you cannot really do a budget based on infrequent donations, or donations that come once and that's it. We can use any donation that you have, of course. If you cannot make it a monthly donation, we understand very clearly. Money is tight with everybody, but you can give a one-time donation of 20, 50, 100, and so forth. We also understand. But if you can stretch yourself a little bit, then you make it a $10 a month donation. That will help us out a lot. You don't have to come up with the $100 right away, but you can give just $10 a month, $10 a month, and that will also help us help out. We need to be able to budget. That way we can say for certainty, these are the monies coming in, and these are the money that we are working on getting. So please donate. And one of the pieces of advice that we are giving out to our client is this: please donate, make a donation of $10 a month, but go beyond, because you can do two things. Make $10 a month, then get just 3 people, to also donate $10 a month. then your contribution as to Fadu is concerned is just about there because you have done your part. You have done two things. You have given us $10, and you have gotten three other people to also donate $10 a month. You can also get other people who can donate just once, because if you're going to get involved, you can get involved from anywhere in the world. You can get involved from anywhere in the world. If you're going to donate, you can donate from anywhere in the world because we use PayPal, and PayPal is all over the world, and also it is on the internet. As long as you can get on the on online, you can do your banking online. That can include using the PayPal to send your donation. If you're in the United States or any other parts of the world where you file your tax returns at the end of the year, FADU is a non-profit organization. That means your donation is tax deductible. You can get part of your donation back at the end of the year. If you don't itemize and you just want to give, and that is it because you are concerned about our country and you want to get involved, but you are not expecting any return, then you can donate on Voice of Uganda Radio website. But if you are interested in donating and making a donation and getting a tax return out of it, then you need to donate on FADU website, www.faddu.org website. That way, you can also get your tax return. If you go and donate on on the regular Voice of Uganda website, then at the memo, right in at the memo, donation to FADU. Donation to FADU. You can actually donate on Voice of Uganda Radio website, but then just write in the memo donation or a message donation to FADU. Make it donation to FADU, and that is all that you need to do really. After that, it is all taken care of. You can also go on the website, go on PayPal account, and then just as you write donation to FADU, you can also click monthly. There is a place where you can click monthly so that every month on a particular day, every month, your money is automatically taken out of your credit card, out of your bank account, and out of your bank card, just automatically. That way, you don't even have to think about it. That is what I do, and I once I've set it for the rest of the year, I just don't even worry about it. It just automatically goes. Every once in a while, I check, and also every time you make a donation, PayPal send you a receipt that you need to print and keep in a safe place, or receipt that you need to put in a good in a folder on your desktop or on your document for on a folder on your computer. That way you will always have access to it, and at the end of the year we shall send you a letter uh, showing all the donations you have made for the year, and you will get your tax return out of that. So we encourage all of you to please contact us and make this simple donation. It is very, very easy, doesn't take a lot of time, and it also doesn't take a lot of money out of your pocket. Let us work together. Let us try and ensure that we are a team, and we are going to get our we're going to get our country back together, because we own the country and we are going to own the process of liberating it. We thank you all very much, and that is the end of our housekeeping. Uh, my friend James Ssemakula is on his way. He has not yet arrived, but he will do so presently. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a 5-minute break, and we're going to go back to the studio, take a 5-minute break, and when I come back, we will delve into the topic of today. Thank you. Hello, studio.
The Uganda American Muslim Association invites you to the 6th annual meeting and conference. It will be held from July 11th, 2014 to July 13th, 2014 in Beltsville, Maryland. For more details, you can visit our website at uwamalink.org or call phone number 301-408-8417. Remember, it's every Muslim's duty to know of the plight of another Muslim. This is an opportunity for you to meet and know fellow Muslims from Uganda living in America.
Hello, listeners, fellow Ugandans, supporters of Ugandans. We are back, and we are going to continue. And now, I'm still waiting for my co-host to show up. Sometimes I think it is very, very difficult to get through. Sometimes it's very difficult to put aside things you have to do because we do this thing every Saturday and every Sunday. Every once in a while, it just something just comes in, family issues, issues with your church, and so forth. So sometimes you come a little bit late. So my friend James Ssemakula is going to be coming a little bit later on. In the meantime, I have your complete attention, I hope, and we will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic today that I wanted uh, to touch on is something that we have been hearing ever since ever since we started struggling against Museveni, and it has become such a big thing for us that at least we need to dispel any in misconception or consistency inherent in it. The thing is that many Ugandans, whether they are doing their own things or they are in organizations and so forth, the one constant thing they say is, I don't want Museveni to know that I'm working against the government because I have to go home. I have to go home. And I fear that if I am talking out against Museveni, if I'm doing things against Museveni, somehow they will know, and when I go home, they will arrest me and kill me. This has been such, this has been the number one excuse people give for not getting involved. And this is also the number one excuse people give for just not bothering at all. They want to be able to go home every now and then. And that going home, it may be every year, it may be every 2 years, it may be a few times a year. But because people so want to go back to their beloved Uganda and to see their family and to have the projects going on in Uganda and so forth, they don't want to get involved in any talk of liberating Uganda while their family suffers at home. And I thought today let us talk a little bit about it. If you believe that that is the excuse you have, let us have a discussion today because we need to really truly dispel that issue. And my primary concern is that if we can clearly put that issue aside, if we can clearly let people know that that excuse is not going to be the answer to our problem, we may start having people come out and say, you know what, I need a much more permanent solution. Because the reason you left Uganda, those of us who are in the diaspora, the reason you left Uganda and came out, those reasons are still there and they have multiplied. Those reasons, the reason you went in initially is now a grandfather. There are many, many more children and grandchildren of those reasons you left the countries. Those reasons are not there, have not disappeared. Those are also the reasons why you only want to visit. You don't want to go back home to stay. You only want to visit the country. And you want to reserve your right to visit the country anytime you want at the expense of working towards getting a permanent solution to our problem. You are sending money every now and then to the total of billions of dollars every year, propping up the government of Uganda. You have to understand this. The money you take counts on the Uganda's gross domestic product. We are those of us who are in the diaspora. Our remittances to Uganda count as the second biggest foreign exchange earner in the country. We send My good friend co-host James Ssemakula gave the numbers yesterday. I don't have the numbers, but you send us. So you are propping the Uganda government at the same time that you are refusing to get rid of it because you want to preserve and protect those 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or a month, that period of time once a year when you go home. That time is so important to you that you don't want to do anything to take away that time. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, to be honest, first of all, that is selfish because you're thinking about you yourself, and you're not even thinking about the people that you are going to see because they are suffering. But with you going home every now and then to see them is more important to you than actually liberating them from the suffering, taking away the reason they are suffering, taking away the reason why you have to send money every day at home, or I mean every month at home or so, taking away the reason why they are dying. You are more concerned with your right to go home every now and then. You are much less concerned with their right, your family's right to live a good life, free of deprivations, free of torture, free of arbitrary arrest, free of debilitating diseases without medicine, available medicine to combat them. They continue to suffer the way they have always been suffering, while you preserve your 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks so that you can go and see them in their misery. I know that many of us have projects at home. Maybe you're building a house, you're doing this and that. Maybe your maybe your family is okay, but there is nothing prestigious about you being a well-off person in a well-off family in an island of poverty where everybody else is so poor they can't get anything to eat, and you and your family are way up there. That really, 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 really is selfish, ladies and gentlemen. If you look down at it, you are the same person who is saying, we want action. We cannot support just words. We are tired of words. We want action. What you're saying is, I am preserving my right to go home anytime I want. My family be damned. Let them suffer. Let them die. Let them so. I want my 1 month or 2 months to go home and see them. When I go home, I take a little bit of money here and there and I see my family. But when I leave them in their misery until the next time I come back. When you come back, you take some good pictures with your families and so forth, and that will survive. You will survive feeling good for a year or for quite a bit of time. Every once in a while, you hear, "Oh, so and so from home died. Oh, so and so from home got arrested. Oh, so and so from home uh, is now in prison." You also hear, "So and so got married. Oh, so and so has a new baby." Oh, but you also hear, "Oh, so and so died in childbirth, went to the hospital. There were no nurses, there were no midwives, there were no doctors. They died having childbirth in the waiting room. Oh, she couldn't make it. She died on the side of the road, having a baby on the side of the road, on the way to the hospital." You hear of that young boy that you were playing around with died of pneumonia or died of malaria. Then the good pictures, the wonderful, beautiful pictures that you have, and and the video that you have or so, they become sad reminders. And then you start saying, you know what? I need to go back home. My mom or my dad, they are now old, and I cannot. I have to be able to see them before they die off. Then you go back home. If you're in the United States, you're working. You probably have 2 weeks. If you're in other parts of the world, you probably have up to a month to go and see them, so that you can take pictures for posterity. How many of you, ladies and gentlemen, have pictures of people you went home to meet, and you saw and you took pictures, and now they are dead? And you have their pictures, and you look at them every once in a while. And when you go around and you start showing it to your kids, say, oh, this was so and so, he's dead now. This is so and so, he's dead now. And this is oh, so and so, he got married, he now has children. Oh, so and so is in prison, he's arrested, and so you keep saying all of this, but you also, so and so is dead. So and so died. Might have died of malaria, might have died in an auto accident, might have died being bitten by a snake, but whatever, they are dead. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, the thought doesn't occur to you, or if it does, you dispel it too quickly. That the thought is that, wait a minute, if instead of just trying to protect my 1, 2, 3 weeks or 1 month right to go home, if instead I had put some effort and a little bit of resource into getting rid of this of the monster at home, and instead put in place the people's government, the government that respects the people and provides services for the people, and the government that belongs to the people. If I had participated in that and gotten all my friends to participate in that, and get all my acquaintances and my other relatives to participate in that, and the young men and young women at home to also participate in that, maybe we can have a permanent solution. Maybe Uganda will be so good that I can now go back home and be home instead of going just to visit. Many of us, ladies and gentlemen, started off by sending money home. We send money home, we send money home, and we go home every once in a while, and it is just never enough. It's just never enough. Let us look at what you do when you go home. First of all, everybody knows so and so is coming home because you have sent advance notice. They spend the little money they have getting you. Maybe from the airport, maybe from Kampala or Gulu and so forth. And then they want to make sure when you go home, you don't see their misery. This is the one thing I learned the hard way. The first time I went home, people were dressed to the nine. People were nicely dressed. The clothes were clean. They were living well. And the food they were eating, I was like, wait a minute, these people are eating so much better food than we eat in the United States. Much more organic, beautiful, just the way we ate when we were growing up. And I was like, wait a minute, these people are not suffering so much. It took me a while to understand that when I was going home, everything was spruced up. People were actually borrowing money to make sure that when I go home, I'm not eating the kind of food they are always eating. They don't eat the kind of food they're serving you. And they are definitely not living the way you live. Even the problems, the family problems that are maybe between a brother and a brother, or between a sister and a sister, or between a sister and a brother, all of those, they're put aside. You don't see those when you go home, because they want They don't want to worry you. They don't want you to know the real truth, what's going on. Took me a while to understand that, because eventually they start getting into debt. You go away broke. Of course, you left everything you took home with you. You're coming back maybe with just the shoes on your feet and the shirt on your back. You leave everything else home, and then as immediately you come, they start asking for money. I learned the hard way this that my people were going into debt to make me happy. The 3 4 weeks I was at home, I had fun. I enjoyed myself immensely, because they extended beyond their capacities and beyond their means to make me feel at home, to create that home atmosphere that I had before. And I forgot that, hey, look, they had put fresh black soil on this house. They had just recently uh, prepared the road to the home. They had just recently cleaned up the compound. You could see where the compound was just nearly clean. You could see that. You could tell that. Hey, wait a minute. Not everybody dresses up this way every day. Because look, when my family is all dressed up, and then I walk away around to see the neighbors and so forth, I see the real suffering. I come back to my home and I was like, my house, my family is doing fine. It had never occurred to me until a while to notice that, hey, they are putting on a show for me. They are actually miserable. We never get the real picture of how home is. So my 2 3 months of weeks of going home was bringing them misery. And again, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the money we send home or take home with us. The money we send home causes more problems as many problems as it solves. Because people are so deprived now, people have also become so selfish. They want what they want for themselves. Me, me, me. It is not the family. It is me. We in the diaspora, we still have this grand idea of the family. But the family is so fractured. I was saying last time, when you send $100 to your sister and another $100 to your other sister, you think you're solving a problem. But one sister has 5 kids, the other sister has 2 kids. The sister with 5 kids, yeah, she's appreciative that you gave her the $100, but she's angry that you gave her other sister $100 when she has very few kids. You are causing jealousy that turns into enmity. You send money to build a house, to put a roof on your house because it is already built. But there are emergency situations that come, the money is done, the money is put somewhere else. You are spending 2 3 times the amount of money you could have spent if you were at home building that little house or building that big house, because life gets in the way of investment. Daily, lively, daily needs to survive get into the way of your investment, either in real estate or building just a house as an asset for you and or your family. You a house that could have cost $200,000, you spend to the tune of $500,000 to $600,000 to build the same house, because you are in the diaspora. You are not at home to see it from the ground up until it is finished. You send that money to your brother or to your sister, and things are not working out as you expect. How many of us? have gone through that. Sending money to somebody you trust only to see that what you wanted done wasn't done. And the money did not go where it was supposed to go, or to whom it was supposed to go. Many of us have gone through that. And when you see the amount of money you have sent home and what has been done to your home, you just wonder, where has all the money have sent home gone? Where has it gone? So you're being here and just protecting your few weeks of going home and so forth. It is being disadvantageous to your family. There I talk about the school fees that you pay every year, every term actually. There I talk about the school fees and the result of it. Yes, I do there. Many of us spent years and years and years sending kids from primary school to high school to HSC to university or to commercial or vocational training and so forth. Many of us have done that with the clear expectation that when they finish the university, they will go out there and get a job and relieve some of the financial pressure on the family. Your boy, your girl graduated with a bachelor's degree or with a master's degree or whatever, there's no job. They are still jobless, and right now they have even grown up. There are other issues that are now and they're encouraging. They don't have a job. The guys who are selling matoke or cassava or roast corn on the side of the road, they make more money than your graduate. And because this gentleman has already, or this lady has already got a degree, they are not going to find jobs in the village. So they have to stay in Kampala, in Gulu, in Hoima, in the city with no money. And you, my friend, you are still paying for the rent. Every once in a while, one or two of them gets a job. It may be a temporary job from an NGO. And this young man or this young woman whom you sent to school, they are not yet fully settled and now they want to get married because they have this woman, and all of a sudden your financial responsibility increases. How many graduates are out there doing nothing? Some are even driving border. Some are literally just selling stuff on the side of the road. And believe it or not, there are some who have gone back home and they are just staying in the village. The amount of money you spent is sitting in the village doing nothing. The same as that kid who decided he is not going to go to school, probably never went to P1. They are now the same. One of the things that your man is doing right now, of course, is drinking a lot. Drinking away his sorrow, his frustration. The guy from the university, the guy with the degree, is the town drunk now. You could have, ladies and gentlemen, you could have spent a little bit of your time and a little bit of the resources you have to ensure that the government, the situation at home changes. So that the government was actually investing in the country, creating jobs, so that businesses and real businesses that create jobs instead of businesses that steal from the government coffer. that everybody gets paid when at the end of the month everybody gets paid so they have money to spend, and therefore the economy is expanding throughout the country instead of just around Kampala. You could have done that. How many of you spent a lot of money to send your nephew, your cousin, even your younger brother, or even your older brother to school, and yet halfway through it, they just quit. They just decided I'm not going to go to school, or they don't do so well and they fail and they never go beyond primary, or they never go beyond O level, or if they go to A level, they don't go beyond that. Not very few of the total number of people in your family end up at the university level, and then they go way back down, like they never even went to school, and all that money that you spent at the moment redundant. If if the satisfaction or the return on your investment in the education is the fact that they can write their name and spell them correctly, then you can say, oh, I invested well. Or if you say, well, at least they have some education, they reach primary 7, or at least they reach S4, or they at least they reached S6. Maybe one day when the country changes, they don't have to start all from the ground. But at the same time, when is the country going to change? By the time the country changes, maybe he's a great grandfather or a great grandmother no longer able to go to school. But all this time, they just been languishing at home. But let us not hope this, but some of this happens. Young girl with a degree or going to get a degree, absolutely no source of income. The money they can get from turning into prostitution becomes very attractive. How many of you are aware that your daughter or your younger sister is out on the street sleeping with men for money just to survive? A very young girl whose school fees you are paying to go to university. She has other requirements that however much money you send home, you cannot meet, because you don't just have her. You have 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 kids that you also need to support. Despite all that money you're sending home, your sister has become a prostitute. Your daughter, not just send it to Makerere or Zambia or to Kiambogo or to whatever. She's selling herself and she's sleeping with men on the side of the street, or so to speak. Despite all the money you're sending home. What if the country was okay and this young girl could get all she needed in school, and instead she could concentrate on school, get that Bachelor of Science, and maybe get a Master of Science or Master of Arts, and get a decent job, start a wonderful, beautiful family, the way you dream she would have a life if she got a degree. But right now, she's on the side of street in the evening, asking strangers to sleep with her for whatever money they ask for. Do you feel some sense of responsibility for turning her into that? Ladies and gentlemen, this girl may not be your sister. This girl may not even be your relative. This girl may be from another district somewhere else. She is somebody's sister. She is somebody's daughter, She's somebody's granddaughter, somebody's cousin, somebody's niece, turning to prostitution because you are protecting your right to go home and be safe 3, 4, 5 months, weeks in a year. Some of you even don't go home. Maybe once every 5, 6 years. You are protecting that. You are saying, I want to be able to go home when I want or when I'm able to. When you're able to may come once every 3, 4 years. We need to rethink our priorities. We need to rethink our priority because, ladies and gentlemen, this excuse about me being able to go home is so pervasive in the Ugandan community. It is fed by the culture of fear that we already have, not just at home, but also in the diaspora. We are afraid. We are so afraid. I had a friend who was very, very convinced that his name was in the State House. He was very convinced that if he were even to step foot in the country, they will just arrest him from Entebbe Airport right away because he has been a very vocal advocate against Museveni. For years, this man could not go home because he was afraid. This guy was sending money home to his own brother. Hey, we need to build a house for our parents here and there. And the brother was like, yes, we're building home and so forth. I went home and this guy sent me to go and see the brother had built his own house in Kampala instead of the home his brother want built at home. Eventually,
Charli,
this guy.
you have a call?
Thank you. Hello, caller. How are you?
Yes, my friend Charles. This is Musana. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm trying to detangle this mystery we have here.
I know. First of all, I thank you very much, you and everybody on Voice of Uganda Radio, who take their time to come on the air and the sacrifice, because this is a sacrifice you guys are providing for our country. I understand, most of you are doing this on a volunteer basis, and we really appreciate your time. What I want to talk about today, the things that have been happening in Uganda, and if any Ugandan, anyone who's listening to me, had any iota of scintilla of doubt about Museveni's regime, the wife of Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi laid it out naked to see what system has been run, or what system has been they run behind closed doors. Remember, people, these are people, the insiders, who are coming out to bring this out. This should give us something to think about, or this should tell us something, because there are so many people here who are called in opposing those people who have worked with Museveni to join. Now they're coming out and telling us what was happening within the system. People should understand that a system, in order a system to corrupt, people have to leave that system. And this is what we are trying to see, or this is what we are witnessing happening. People like Genocide Jusa, they left the system. People like VSG, they left the system. So for people to criticize these people that they should not say anything because they were part of the system, so they should not have any say, people should understand, in order the system to collapse, okay, you must take a bolt out of that system. You must take out a pin out of that system, because that pin was part of the system that was holding it together. But slowly by slowly, if those things start coming out, the whole system is going to collapse. So my point is that people should not criticize those people who used to work for the government and now they're coming out. We should forget that because we need those parts to get out of that engine in order to make the engine worthless. So what Mrs. Mbaba has been saying, exposing the system that most people didn't know, is very critical to dismantle the Museveni regime. Now we understand what Kayihura was doing, but when he goes on air, he says something different. We understand why Mama Mbaba left his wife with the president, both of them together. And we understand, according to Ms. Bakoko, that she was playing an entire recording of what Kayihura has done. There are so many people that have been killed, and Museveni and Kayihura, they blame it on the opposition. But right now, it's out there, it's out to see that yes, these people, we are killing people, and they are blaming the opposition as hooligans. But it was disingenuous for Mrs. Mbaba to talk about the NRM youth who are being harassed by their own system. And Mrs. Mbaba did not say anything about the reverend who was handled like a piece of paper. Did not mention anything about Mugisha Muntu, who was inside the building being interviewed. So, fellow Ugandans, you understand, this thing was built for themselves alone, and bit by bit, they are coming out. So we should stop criticizing people who are coming out of the system to help us get the system collapsed. And I sincerely believe that if more people come out, we encourage these bolts and nuts and bolts that once we are holding the engine together, falling off the engine will become useless. So we should encourage more people to leave the NRM, come out and speak, so that Museveni's government is worthless. Thank you so much, friend.
Thank you, caller, for bringing that out. Now, the key thing that I can add on to that.
Mr. Charli, you have more call?
Yeah. You have one more call. Okay, hello, caller. How are you?
Joe, Charli.
Yes, my friend. How is London?
London. It's a pity Mr. Musana is gone. I wasn't meant to call in today. But he mentioned something which sort of I had to phone in.
Okay.
He's gone. I mean, he's saying we need to forgive people who've been working with Museveni, so they could tell us what goes on in the regime. But obviously,
no, he didn't say we should forgive. He said we should forget. And by that, my interpretation of it is that should not be where our concentration is. We should actually welcome them so that we learn. He said we should not criticize them.
What's your view on this? Because I mean, it's kind of I can't get my head around this. So
I have a very specific view. I have a very specific view on this. First of all, the people that we are criticizing, they were not the reason they are not the reason we are where we are. We are the reason we are where we are. They were in a system that they thought would eventually work. It took them longer. It took certain people longer. It took certain people very short time to realize that, hey, this system is not going to work. But yet eventually, those who are coming out, they have had enough, number one. And number two, they are being forced out. And number three, the pot is getting smaller while they are getting greedier. We understand all of that. However, we cannot make it our point of concentration at this time. I look at it this way. We have a lot to learn from these people. If they can come out and tell us what is going on, it informs our approaches. It informs how we are going to deal with them.
Yes, Charlie. Sorry.
Yes.
Musana, I came back to clarify from the caller, our friend.
Yes, thank you, sir.
What I'm saying is that now it's not the time to criticize. Now is the time to figure out how can we dismantle this well-put engine. Okay?
Okay.
We have the engine that is functioning and has been functioning for over 30 years. But now the nuts and bolts have started coming loose. Okay? So, but if they do come loose, and then you criticize, why are you coming loose when you've been part of the engine? You will never understand exactly how this engine has been able to function for so long. And eventually, that engine will be dysfunctional.
So, do you have any criteria of people? Okay, so you are quite happy working with Sejusa, who leads a group. Okay, he's a leader. I mean, he's not just giving information. I mean, someone could come out and they give information about the regime, and they don't take part into. My trouble with people like Sejusa is come out. He's leading a group. He wants to go back in power. Now, I would be happy if Sejusa came out. He gave us all this information. He said, this is what happened. I'm sorry. You work with this. But when he is not part of the process, I don't think these people should be part of the future, Uganda's future.
Now, let me tell you the game of politics. Okay? The world over, even where you are in Britain, you've seen politicians crossing from one party to another party. Is that right? And we are talking about criminals. We're not talking about people crossing from one party to another. Some of these people are so tainted. So if Kaihura came tomorrow and said, look, Museveni is a bad guy, you're quite happy working with him. This is what I want to understand, my friends, okay? People can cross, people can leave the system. But those people who are leaving the system, they are very crucial in understanding how this machinery has been put together. Let me give an example. Criminals are always given amnesty in order to testify, in order to help the police crack the case. Now, you want to tell me that those criminals should not testify if they're not, if there's not so much information, should not be given amnesty. They do so because the only way they can break loose into the system. Okay? These things are real. We need these people. We can give them amnesty as long as they can help us dismantle the system. So my answer to your question is very, very similar to a police who's giving a serial killer amnesty. My answer to you is the police who give drug dealers amnesty. Because the drug dealers have killed so many people, and without their information, those drug dealers will go on killing. So the case of producers and Kayuhulas, if they came out, they're informed, and they're going to give us more information about the system.
Well, I think we can remove.
If you put more attention on these people, they will never come out. Okay, go ahead.
No, I think we can remove Museveni without Sejusa, without Kaihura. I think we are turning up Museveni to be some kind of superhero, And I think if Uganda is going to have a future, the struggle.
Excuse me, please.
People.
My friend, excuse me. Look.
Yes.
Do you mind if I use you as an example?
Yes.
Yes. Look. You say we can get rid of Museveni without Sejosa.
Yes.
Okay. I cannot get you to support our program or to support our program. I cannot get you, the regular caller, cannot effectively support apart from calling in. How do you think? Give me an example of how we can get Museveni out of power without the use of people like Sejosa.
Well,
and by the way, I'm not saying we should embrace him. I am saying we should use his knowledge. You should take advantage of his knowledge.
Right, that's fine. First of all, I'm not a victim of Sejusa's crime or alleged crimes. And I think it's up to the people who have been victims of these people's, whatever, alleged offenses.
I am from the north. I am from the north. My people were killed, murdered, and some of them were buried alive by Sejosa. I know that. Have you heard of Konakelak? I know that. Okay? Where my brother was a priest, one of the people was thrown into a pit latrine, alive. He's there up to today. I know all of that. But yet, I know this. If you can use Sejusa to right the wrong that has already taken place, okay, he may have given us a good service. Are we going to forgive him? No. But I am not going to take a moral stand. I am not going to assume a moral stand and dispense justices based on a very strict moral sense. Yes, he is my murderer, but he can also be my savior. If I can use him, great. If I cannot use him, we will find out when we go home. When we get home, people are talking about Peace and Reconciliation Commission, Truth and Reconciliation Commission. That process is going to start with us forgiving, or let's say, let the past be the past. Let us go on and create for ourselves a beautiful country. What we practice now, so what we preach now, we can also start practicing it now. That's what I wanted to say.
I get your point. I mean, if you, especially for someone from the north, if you think, I mean, from what you've just told me, then that's fine. But obviously, people have a choice, and you're gonna be people like me who can't associate with those kind of people. But I mean, that's what democracy is all about.
If I can jump in with the final, our friend from the Kora, I want you to understand that there were so many crimes that were committed during the World War II. And I believe that's why the United Nations was formed as a result of what had happened. And I believe that's why they had the amnesty being formed, because of what happened. The amnesty was formed primarily to give amnesty to those people who were involved in such killings to come forward and tell it all. And without such amnesty, it would have been very difficult to apprehend the criminals, even if themselves they were part of the system. So politically, you have to understand that is how politics work. That is how politics work. You need people who are within the system to come.
I'm not a politician.
And if I want to strengthen my government, I get people from the public to act as informer to stay within the system. Okay, I can get the informer to help me hold power. Okay, but
I think we agree on one thing. We need people who want to volunteer, who have repainted, and they want to volunteer information. But I mean, I can't think, because this in Sejisa's case is the leader of the group.
I differ to agree with you. Somebody who wants to volunteer, cannot be given amnesty because he wants or she wants to volunteer. Those are called information. Yes. Now, if somebody
to clear their conscience,
if somebody sets conditions to come out, that's not a volunteer because you're setting up conditions. I want amnesty. Then I will tell you what happened. I want amnesty. Then I will tell you what I was doing in that engine to keep it going. But you know, I'm sorry, but that's the way I understand people like Sejusa. How beneficial to our struggle to remove Museveni. We do understand crimes were committed by them, okay? But we need them to come and help us get rid of this money, because if we don't, the money can go on for another 20 years. I'm going to sign out, but thank you so much, Charlie, and thanks so much, Voice of Ghana Radio.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll go at Charlie as well.
Are you finished with what you wanted to say? Because This is your topic here.
I think we agree to my stand is purely a moral stand. I think with some of these people, because we're not talking about people who are there for a short period of time. We're talking about people who are part of the architecture of the regime. And I think my view is, as I was saying, if someone they have repented, they want to volunteer information to help a group of people who are clean to remove the regime, and for them, I don't know, we set up a system is set up of truth and reconciliation, and they give the information of what happened. Now, the victims, I think you consult the victim's views. It's not up to me to forgive Sejusa because I'm not a victim of his alleged crimes. It's not up to me to decide on what should happen to him. And that's
let me come in here, my friend. And we tried so hard for over 20 years to let the country of Uganda know that what was happening in the north was a national issue. It was not just the Cholis or the Langes getting killed. It was citizens of our country getting killed. It pains me if you don't recognize that, because what Museveni has been doing and continues to do hurts the entire country. So you, sir, were a victim, because as a citizen of your country, the country that you so love, when one of you is hurt, everybody is hurt.
I wouldn't compare myself to the people like you say, incident which happened to your relatives. I wouldn't compare myself to that extent. Yes, I've been a victim of
understand that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand that one. But the language
for example,
needs to be...
I cannot understand why people in the north want to forgive Colin. I mean, I cannot understand. And I hear people say they want to forgive him, he should come home and grow crops and everything. I cannot get my head around it. But obviously, they are the victims. For me, I feel that crimes have got to be punished to have a break with the past. People to realize that, when you commit certain crimes, you are going to be punished so it doesn't happen again in the future. Now, this nasty business, I'm not sure who was given amnesty, but I know all the top people like Garing and some other people were actually tried and hanged. I think Garing cheated to death. He poisoned himself before he could be hanged. So I think these people who got amnesty were like the small foot soldiers, but not the top ones. But obviously, I'm no expert on this topic. I think we just have to watch to see how this whole thing is going to pan out. But we will see. We'll see, Charlie. Listen in. Probably people are going to phone in and come up with some other things.
Thank you, man. I always encourage you to call when something itches you the wrong way. Please call. But I would be much more complete in my appreciation if you join the struggle. You're still on the sideline, but find a way that you can join the struggle with us. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are about 45 minutes away from the end of our program. Actually, 35 minutes away from the end of our program. If you are willing to call and contribute to our discussion,
you have a
if you are
call?
willing to call and contribute to our discussion, hello.
Yeah. I just want to ask you. Just say that the gentleman is not part of the struggle just because he is not paying some money to you guys. Is that what you mean? Part of the struggle?
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. We have invited him before, and he said he did not want to be a part of it for now until some time later. Yeah. And I am not being very clear about what later is. We are not counting people as with us or against us or not with us. No. our thinking is every Ugandan has to be doing something more than just talking about our problem. And by saying he is not with us, because I don't know what else he is doing apart from talking.
Do you know the types of resistances that exist in the world? Do you know that even keeping quiet is a type of resistance?
If I'm going from Kensington to what is I hope you. If I'm going from one place to the next, and I see somebody suffering on the side of the street, and I said it is my resistance, so I'm not going to help him. That is silly. And in terms of
you're not going to combine things in the wrong way. We're not talking about anything.
In terms of your example,
politics. Hey, listen to me also, please. We're talking about politics here. We're not talking about helping a person. We're talking about resisting a regime. And now you said if someone's just talking and is not being part of the struggle, what are you doing beyond talking?
What am I doing beyond? Oh man, I wish you were here. I can talk to you face to face.
Yeah, you can let us know so.
Okay, I am doing much more than just talking. I only talk Monday. I only talk on the radio Saturday and Sunday. Okay, this is my vocation, and I do all kinds of things. I travel. I talk to people. I gather resources, and I also talk to United States government officials. I do all kinds of things. Now, joining the struggle does not mean is totally different from joining my organization.
No.
There are ways.
But the way you are defining joining the struggle, you think everyone is going to go to America, everyone is going to talk to government officials. No, some people can join the struggle by just calling in and speaking their mind.
Charlie, if I can jump in, I'm sorry to address what I feel about our friend, the caller.
Galabuzi.
First of all, you said that you can support the struggle by keeping quiet.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You are right. That's why we have been serving for 30 years, because we kept quiet. I don't think keeping quiet will move Museveni out.
No.
Yes, you're right.
You misunderstood me.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, being on the side, yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, my friend, the reason I'm challenging you is that we have so many ways you can participate in the struggle. Right now, you've done a great job calling other than keeping quiet, because we know you are there and we know your voice. No, and the world has heard your voice.
Before you go to that point, because for me, I just want to show you that just because some people are silent, that does not mean they're not part of the struggle. Some people
that's what I explained.
Listen, please listen to me. Some people are part of the struggle. Their kind of resistance is not to cooperate with the government, and their silence is part of the resistance. And if you have read about resistance, you find that even keeping quiet and not cooperating, that's a type of resistance. They are putting up their resistance in that kind of form. You might have the ability to have the connections with other, with governments. That's all right. That's your part of resistance. That is within your abilities. You understand? So I think
I do understand, sir. I was part of your group you're talking about, the quiet group, the non-talking group. I was part of that group for almost 20 years. Yeah. But I thought that somebody else will hear me when I'm not making any noise. But what happened, it happened to stay in power up to now. Because I was part of those quiet movements, which I saw did not take us anywhere in getting Museveni out. I decided to do another way of becoming resistant, where I can put mine back. So we do up here.
There's one thing also I want to make. Let's put that aside. I think we have put some light on that. You just said that I don't know if it is you or the other guy who said that they don't have to forgive people like Sejusa and Samson Mand and those kind of people who have been cooperating with the government. I think the brother is on a wrong track, if I must say, because Museveni, if he's going to keep dividing us, we are going to keep weak. This he must understand. He must learn that the more we are divided, the more we become weak. And that's why I didn't want to call, but I felt that the language Brother Charli, or what, I don't know if it's called Brother Charli, he was using that the guy he's just speaking is not part of the struggle. I think that is also a language that creates some kind of line between those who call in or those even listen into the radio. So I think at the moment, we need, as a people, we need to come together. And above also, we need only not to define the problem as Museveni. We need to know the other external problems that are leading to people like Museveni to become what they are, because we don't have only Museveni in Africa. We have other leaders in Africa who act as just as Museveni. So we have to learn that this is not just Museveni. This is something beyond Museveni. It is something that goes to Africans as a people. And this, if we identify this,
we have other callers, but I need to get our caller.
I'm going to sign off, Charli. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you very much.
Caller, can you hold on 1 second? Caller from Fresno, can you hold on 1 second? I have a question that I hope that Kalabuzi can answer. You say your silence is also a form of protest, right?
Yes.
Yes. Can you explain to me how it has worked so far as Museveni is concerned? How has your silence promoted any resistance against Museveni?
I will not go through how it has, but I'll also go to the other side, how those who think are talking a lot are not even contributing to the resistance. I'll take an example of people like Elias Lukwago or even his friend Chiza Besigye. They are telling us that they care about the people or the suffering people. I'm not this kind of person. For me, I have an approach of a spiritual approach. I don't reason as a politician. I reason spiritually. And looking at people like Elias, they have told us that they care about the poor. But Elias was given a car of over 300 million shillings. In Morago, we don't have beds. Do you know how many beds we could have bought in a car that Elias is driving? Those are the people who have been coming out, talking, even putting their lives on the line to be...
you're talking about, Mr. My friend, you're talking about other people. I asked a question about you.
Did you ask me to answer you? Yes. Let me answer you in my own way. Don't let me answer you the way you want me to answer. And then I was talking about his car, how many beds we can buy in that car. And if you look at that, those are the people we think that they are putting up a resistance even on the ground. That kind of resistance only does not mean that it is bringing any results to our own people. Those are liars. Some people could be silent. They could be silent, doing their things silently without a voice, but working hard to see that there's a change for the poor people. For me, I talk for the poor people. That is what I'm talking about, silent resistance. But doesn't mean keeping quiet and just letting everything go as it should be. It means you are putting up resistance, you're walking underground without exposing sometimes yourself. And that's, I don't want to discourage those people who choose that path of putting up a resistance in a silent way. And we must not discourage them. Even those who tune in and listen to a radio, they are part of the struggle. And that's my point.
You said there are different types of struggle.
Resistance.
The resistance. Yeah. And even struggle. Yes.
No, I said the resistance. I didn't mention anything about struggle.
Yeah, let me use the word, your word, resistance. There are several different, many different types of struggle. the struggle that we are involved in.
Yeah.
And organizations like ours and people like ours, the organization, the struggle or the resistance that we are involved in is aimed to be active resistance, not passive resistance. And when I say somebody is not part of the resistance, I'm not saying he is not resisting at all. He may be doing it his way, but I fully believe that silent resistance is the reason Museveni has been in power for 30 years and is the reason Museveni is going to stay in power for another 30 years. If you are resisting in a way that does not work at all, to me personally, not the organization's opinion, but to me, Charlie, personally, I think it is the same as you not being part of it. Let me get this caller, and you can later, sir. This man has been waiting for a long time. Hello, Mr. Caller from Fresno.
Oh, Mr. Charlie, hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. We have a discussion going on with our caller here. He has brought some very good points, and I'd like you to contribute to it, sir.
Yeah, I think we read different books as far as the topic is concerned. I think it's that old adage which goes that silence means consent. So, and again, you have to define what silence means. But if one kept quiet without doing anything, I don't think what that means is resistance. To me, what that, understand corrected over that. To me, what that means is if I was posing a question to you and I ask you and you keep quiet, or I say something and you keep quiet, or I bring a suggestion and you keep quiet, that means you have consented. To me, that's what it would mean. So if we say that there's something wrong and we keep quiet, that means we have accepted what has done. Keeping quiet is as good as saying yes, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion.
Yeah.
So, if one says that the person can practice resistance being silent, then I think we should go a bit deeper and define the word silence. One might be silent, I understand, doing these things covertly and underground. That is not sound. That's not being silent.
Yeah.
He's passing out a message, but in a different way. He's communicating his resistance in a different way, but he's doing something. He might write. Yeah. He might contribute money to struggle. I've seen some people who say, please, here is my money, but don't mention my name. He's silent. Yeah. He's doing something. So, but if you just say that, you keep quiet, and then that's a means of silence, then I think I read a different book. To me, once you keep quiet, that means you have consented to what someone is doing. But if you keep quiet, I'm talking about physical quietness, talking, and you don't talk, but you act. Actions speak louder than words. You are not silent. You are not silent. But again, if you talk and you don't do anything, I take you back to the old adage that barking dogs seldom bite. We can talk until cows come home. Talk something bad about Museveni day in and day out, without biting. Museveni is not going to be, our talk is not going to be very effective.
But let me respond to you, sir.
So that might be as good as being silent. Now, does talking mean you have contributed to the struggle? Yes. It means you have contributed to the struggle, but then the contribution of the struggle varies. Some can contribute to the struggle by giving up their lives. Those contribute to everything they have. Some can contribute to the struggle by talking. That's some kind of contribution. Some can contribute to the struggle financially. That's contribution. But contribution is graded. Who has contributed more? There is a saying here in America, they say, especially during a Memorial Day, they normally say that everybody contributed some, but some contributed all. So the contribution varies. But keeping quiet and doing nothing at all is not a contribution from the books and from the experience I've had. If you keep quiet and you do your things covertly underground, then you are louder because the actions are going to speak. You don't even have to say anything. But by telling the audience that some of us are listening to the radio, just listening to the radio, that's contribution, I don't understand that one. Listening to the radio and not doing anything and keeping quiet, and that's a contribution. Because you are not in the theater, but even in the theater, when you go to watch a movie, you give money, you go there, you can keep quiet the much you want. You may not even contribute, but you have already given the money, you have contributed to that film or whatever it is, or you have gone to say that's a contribution. But if you just keep quiet and do nothing, that's not a contribution. Therefore, if Charli is inviting the people to join and contribute, you can contribute by words, but you can still go a little bit further. I'm not saying that's not, but being quiet is not contribution at all. That's the point I wanted to emphasize. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, caller, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
I think he had a point, but he kind of misunderstood what I was trying to put ahead. Firstly, I did not. I'm not saying that I'm encouraging people to keep silent. No, I'm not saying that. But I just wanted to correct you, Charli, in the language that you used when you talk to the gentleman. But leaving that aside, I can give him an example. Sometimes it's not action alone that will bring change to our country. Because if you see how many people have tried and failed, from Lakony, Tongwa, Kony, and other guys who have tried, they have taken some action, but action alone is not going to. We have we might think that action alone is going to be our issue. No, it's not action. It's winning the minds of the people. As long as you can win the minds of the people, they can put up a resistance in so many different ways. Now, let me tell you about a silent person, how they can resist. You might think that you are wasting time talking on radio, talking to people who are not even responding to you, but you might tell them, okay, we are not going to be part of this meeting, or we're going to sabotage this and this that Museveni is putting up. That is something that, because you are teaching them, or you are a voice for them, or you are a pipe to send this message around, and they might cooperate by not cooperating with the government. That is the kind of silent resistance I'm talking about. Otherwise, I agree with the caller that we need to put more action in it.
Exactly. I think your point is very well made, and we understand that that is a position that you believe some people are assuming silent resistance. It works for other people. It's not working for our country. And the kind of resistance that people like me and people who join FADU and so forth, we are talking about a different kind of resistance. Active resistance, not silent resistance, active resistance. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to get rid of Museveni by keeping silent.
Charli, you have a call?
Yeah. We are not going to stay so silent that Museveni is just going to say, this is too much silent and I'm going to go. The caller, are you still there?
Yeah, you have another caller.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Charli, I'm doing well, and you?
Doing fine. I haven't heard from you in a while. How are you today?
That's good, man. I've been up and down. And I'm not gonna take long on this call. I just wanna respond to the brother who has been talking about the actions. Yeah, I mean the silent actions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's very welcoming when he brings up the silent actions. And I was very touched when he mentioned about the Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago being given the car of 300 plus million. So what I want to remind my brother is the mayor didn't buy the car, but he was following the system. So he couldn't refuse the car because it was part of the job. And he cannot sell the car because he will be on the bridge of the rules and regulations of the KCCA. And the other thing is, Charlie, what we have to understand is when we take the term silent is accompanied by an action. When you tell people to be silent, they cannot come and just be silent. No. They have either to be silent by not doing this, and as soon as they don't do such a thing, it becomes an action. So I want my brother to understand very well that silent alone, you become like somebody who does not speak. But silent, when you take up an action, this is what the Voice of Uganda Radio is calling upon people to do. Because us here, we call each and every time when the programs comes about. There are people in Uganda who can only be able to listen, just to listen. But when we give out the voices, the message is being spread. So that's what I wanted to comment all about, but I just want him to do a thorough research on the, sorry about the noise that is coming behind my back. I just want him to do a thorough whatever about the silent action. So at the end of the day, he will come up with something. Sorry, I have to go, and thank you very much for the Voice of Uganda Radio to give me this opportunity. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. We do appreciate your contribution. Mr. Kalabuzi is still here. Do you have anything to say to that, please?
Yeah, I want to respond to him about the Elias Range Rover, whatever, the car that was given to the mayor, the road mayor. There's a president, the poorest president in Southern America. You've heard about that guy. Is from Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Yeah. I don't remember the country, but this guy he takes most of his salary and gives it back to the poor. Now, in the case of Elias Lukwago, who claims to be caring about the poor, if he was given an expensive car from taxpayers' money, the only thing he would have done was to reject the car publicly to show that that was a wrong move by the KCCA. So, but what he did, he took in the car. He accepted the car. He did not think about the poor. He would have said it, and they would have been afraid giving these cars to other mayors. But he took it in, and every mayor was taking in a car of that kind. So if he thinks that Lukwago had nothing to do about it, he had nothing. That is putting up a resistance. He would have resisted it by saying, I am not taking the car. You can buy it, you can park it there, but me, I am not going to use it. I'd seen him using a maroon car. He had a car, a big car. He could have used that car. But that is the greed I'm talking about within our country. We have that kind of greed that covers us to see the reality, to see the poor people. We think once we are there, we own everything that belongs to the country. Please let me stop here, and I'll just say keep listening and give other people a chance to talk.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you so very much. It is always a treasure for us when people come up with different opinions, with very, very different opinions that is totally different from the one we hold, because that engages us in conversation about our country. And it also reminds us of things we may not have said before, or we may not have communicated. As a host, I always like to be corrected if I say something wrong, or I use a bad word here and there, or the wrong word here and there. I need to stand corrected. And I thank this caller here for having called and giving us a perspective that not only he, but a lot of people like him are actually have, and that is silent resistance. Silent resistance is something that is true and ever present but hard to swallow, because when you are silent and you don't say much, it gives other people the opportunity to make decisions about you that may or may not be correct, because you haven't given out any pointer. So for me, I know this: being quiet or quiet resistance is never, ever, ever going to get rid of Museveni. People need to stand up and be counted and say loud and clear, Mr. Museveni, we want you gone, and we are doing this and this to get you out of there. Our caller also said something to the effect that there have been active resistance, and he mentioned Lukwago, but he also mentioned side resistance as the LRA, and he specifically mentioned Alice Lakony and the Holy Spirit. I'd like to inform my caller that those movements failed not because of anything Museveni did, but because of internal struggles. Of all the resistances that have come up against Museveni, Alice Lakony was the most effective. This lady, with a ragtag team of men, quite a few of whom were former soldiers of the government, they marched all the way from Kitgum, going through circuitous routes, and they came all the way to Jinja. And they were only separated from Kampala by Owen Falls Dam, that bridge on the Kampala-Jinja Road. We also know that Museveni had already packed up, ready to go. If Ali Lakony had crossed that bridge, Museveni would have been gone. He would have run away completely. The only reason why this struggle failed was because of internal struggles. From Kitgum all the way, everybody was one team. They came all the way, but along the way, people started jostling for power. Oh, we're almost there. I'm going to be this and this when we get to Kampala. I'm going to be this and this when we get to Kampala. The whole thing collapsed around Jinja because of internal struggle, not because of Museveni. So it would be erroneous to say active struggles don't work or have not yet worked. It has not worked because of the people who are engaged in the active struggle, not because of anything Museveni has done. And what we are saying is this: if Ugandans go in there knowing what to do and what not to do, and have the discipline to maintain it through to Kampala, Museveni will be gone very, very quickly. Museveni will be gone very, very, very quickly. And all we need to do is clearly understand that our job is to get rid of Museveni and the NRM and go in there and clean up the house so that the people of Uganda themselves, the guys in the village, the women in the village, the children and the youth in schools, the men and women who are working now, whether in public sector or in private sector, reacquire their right to determine their own destiny. Reacquire their rights to pick and choose which government they want. That is why for us, we want to have a lasting solution implemented in Uganda. And that solution means, that means that de-emphasizing who is going to be the next president and so forth. But most importantly, we can hide in our silence. Because to a lot of people, silence means you are not doing anything. You have to let me know what it is you are doing. Otherwise, I cannot say you are doing this or you are doing that. I don't know. If you are doing something and you're doing it quietly and silently, and you've been doing it for 30-some years, then what is the difference between you who is doing whatever it is you're doing and the person who is absolutely doing nothing and don't even care? The difference is the same. Nothing is getting done. Museveni has thrived because of our silence. Whether you are with FADU, whether you are with other organizations, whether you are with FUF or whatever, make some noise. Nothing is more important in the struggle, in the liberation struggle, than making noise. Because noise attracts people. People come to see what the noise is, and people will join the noise. And as people join the noise, you get enough of them who are dedicated or who had been looking for such an opportunity to do something about their country, to strike a blow for humanity, to strike a blow for citizenship, to do whatever they can do to make sure that this government is gone. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, I say, let's not be quiet. Let's not keep quiet. Let us not allow other people to define us. You need to be able to define yourself instead of letting other people define you. I talked about the other caller not being a part of the struggle. I should have said that caller was not part of the active struggle we are looking for. The struggle that will get rid of Museveni in short order. The struggle that will end up with you, me, and every Ugandan out in the diaspora going back home. Not just going to visit our country, but going to our country. As a matter of fact, we are not going to say, oh, so-and-so is going home to visit. We just say, oh, so-and-so just traveled to Uganda. He's coming back on this and this day. It is no longer going to be a visit. It is going to be going home. He went home. She went home. Period. Didn't go to visit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our struggle. Unfortunately, James Ssemakula was not able to join us today. I know many of you missed his take on things. But we're going to be back here next Saturday, with a fresh episode of Focus on Uganda. I want to thank everybody who called in and contributed to the discussion. It was nice, was vibrant, and we all learned a lot. Let's do it again. That was fun. Thank you very much. Let me take you back to the studio, and let's transition on to the next program coming up. Thank you very much, and we'll meet on the radio
Uganda
next
American
Saturday. Bye-bye, and have a wonderful
week.
week.
The 6th annual meeting and conference. It will be held from July 11th, 2014 to July 13th, 2014 in Beltsville, Maryland. For more details, you can visit our website at uwamalink.org or call phone number 301-408-8417. Remember, it's every Muslim's duty to know of the plight of another Muslim. This is an opportunity for you to meet and know fellow Muslims from Uganda living in America.